Okay, welcome back to JH DogCast and Winston and Nash down here. Now, I should have done this one first because this one's really introducing myself, my experience, covering a couple of topics, pretty short one today, and then I'll get back to having guests on and so forth. But I wanted to do this, and I felt like I hadn't done it because people who do follow me maybe don't know much about me and what I do and what I stand for and so forth. So firstly, I want to tell you a little bit about my experience. Started training dogs when I was very young. My mother tells me I used to do it when I was like 9 years old in New Zealand. I used to get out on the field and with my dog Rusty and practice obedience and do all jumps and stuff like that. So I started really young. But my formal training was when I was in the army, when I was a young man many, many years ago. I started out in transport, but then I transferred to military police as a dog handler. So I did my police dog handling course with the Air Force at Amberley Air Base in Queensland in Australia. And then I was posted to Oki Army Aviation Base from there. Now, from the Army, I got out of there and I was running dog training courses like weekend and obedience programs, plus doing like boarding train programs from a local boarding kennel. People put the dog with me, we know how it goes. I train it for a few weeks, owner comes back, I teach what I've done, I teach the owner, follow up with that and make sure the dogs go fine after that. Did that for a little while. A few years actually, not a little while, a fair few years. Then I applied for a job with quarantine. It was called AQUIS at the time, Australian Quarantine and Inspection Service. Pretty sure the name's changed now, but I was a detector dog handler there with the Beagles at Sydney Airport, International Airport. And then after that job, I came back to my hometown in Port Macquarie, started dog training again, doing that, and sort of done that on and off for the rest of that time. I was living overseas for a while as a personal trainer in fitness, so probably had a bit of a break from dog training. Actually trained a couple of dogs over there, but really I wasn't around dog training for about those 5-6 years. And then since coming back, I've been involved full time in dog training as I am now. So that's pretty much my background on what I've done. Obviously, during that time, I've trained a lot of dogs, trained my own dogs, trained many people's dogs. I couldn't tell you how many I've trained in those years. Literally would be thousands of dogs between programs and personal training and so forth. So that brings me to talk quickly about my approach in dog training. Now, it's nothing special, but I would probably call myself, maybe a strange term to call dog training, but probably more old school. Now, a lot of people hear that term old school and probably think balanced or person who uses aversive techniques and so forth. I don't really want to get into that in this podcast. I just want to talk about my approach, what I do, why I do it, and from there. So my approach is, firstly, getting results for people. It's about using things that work, not about cruelty, but things that work. Whether it be food, whether it be a martingale collar, a slip lead, a head harness on a body if someone really wants to use it. It's not my dog, whoever I train, it's their dog. Sure, I will introduce what I think is better, but in the end, they're your dogs, people I train, they're not mine, so I will give advice, but I respect the owners and what they want to do. Look, often when you do that, the owner will see the deficiencies in that, maybe equipment and style, and then ask for other methods, but I allow them to go as much as they want with how they want to do it until they maybe see a limitation in that style and then say, what do I do from here? And I go, okay, let's try this. So that's where I go. I've been really careful not to enforce or really push my belief on people and say my way is the only way, because it's not the only way. Depending on the dog you train, I think that is your biggest factor in what method you use to train the dog is dependent by the dog, their personality, what they respond to best. If you can use the most gentle, easy approach with a dog, I think we'd all agree that's what we want to use. But the reality is it doesn't always work that way. So my approach is I use what works. I read off the dog and I go by what they need. This dog here, Winston, those who know Labradors, yes, they're lovely dogs, but they can actually be quite reactive. I didn't know them that well until we adopted this guy and rescued him. And he can be quite reactive to other dogs that react to him first. So I've tried the food and tried all these methods and I try to be as nice, but the reality is he responds better to strong handling. And it is strong. It's not cruel, but it's strong. He's got quite a growl on and quite a bark, and he'll lunge, and he's getting better at it, but I've got to be very preemptive, very proactive. So my approach with him will not be what I use with maybe other dogs that don't respond well to that, but he needs that lead handling. You can run backwards all you want with food and try and work it. It just won't work with this dog. Maybe at 100 meters, but it's not going to work close up. So the reality is, and he's what I would call a rock solid dog. He's pretty bomb-proof. He's not scared of much. He's not easily startled. And so that side of him is a great personality. I can really use just good, strong, confident, good leadership with this dog, and he responds really well to it. It's sort of what he needs. So again, that is my approach. Sound like a broken record, but we use what works. I don't have a specific style, but what I do with owners is I focus on not lying to them, not trying to push an ideology that this is the only way, and telling them they need 10 lessons with me and keep coming back and not getting results. I pride myself on maximum 2 lessons with anyone. I think that's the most I've ever done with someone, unless they maybe have really other specific goals in training. But when it comes to general obedience, reactivity, managing that, behavioural issues, things like that, realistically, I believe a good trainer should better get this done in a couple of lessons, give the knowledge to the owners, and maybe follow up down the track to see how they're going. But if you're having to do 10 lessons with someone, I don't believe you're teaching them very well. So bringing me back to my approach is teaching people very clearly, no fuss, no fanciness, just good, solid, simple dog training that works. And we know that there's a lot of controversy online now about what you should use, what you shouldn't use, and the science and all that. And again, I'm not getting into that today. I don't want to talk about this. Is more about just what I do, my approach, and what I love doing. That brings me to my goals. My goals in dog training are to be the best dog trainer I can. Do I have a lot to learn, more to learn? Absolutely. I'm learning every day off dogs like this guy, what works, what doesn't work, what he responds to well and what he doesn't respond to. So they are my goals, to become a better dog trainer. I think any dog trainer out there would say the same thing, to become the best dog trainer they can. And not get caught up thinking you have nothing to learn. I think you can learn off everyone. All trainers have something to teach each other. And I think we should be humble and remember that to be the best dog trainer, we have to have an open mind. And maybe you don't know everything. Maybe there is other method that can work for you, and maybe you should try it. So that is my goal, to be the best dog trainer and to help as many people as possible. I love dealing with behavioural, call them issues, problems, whatever people are dealing with. I like teaching people how to manage it. We're not about fixing, because a lot of dogs aren't broken. There's nothing broken about a dog who reacts to a dog, especially if that dog reacts first. It's reacting on a reaction. So we have to learn how to manage that. Read our dog, be preemptive, lead handling, voice inflection, all these good handling skills that people need to learn. So managing dogs is really important. Teaching as many owners so they can be out in public, walk their dogs, not have to hide away with their dog because they've been told to go the other way. Quick, there's a dog coming, be scared, be nervous. We don't want that. We want to create good, confident, lead handling, dog handling of people so they can manage their dogs very well. And this can take time, don't get me wrong, it's not all that easy. Regarding certifications in dog training, I want to talk a little bit on this. Do I think people need to be certified to be a dog trainer? Well, no, technically not. If you can get experience in other ways, you can work at a daycare, you can work around dogs, I think you can develop a lot of experience through that. Is there elements of certification that I think are really good? Absolutely. When it comes to the animal husbandry side of things, taking care of dogs and the health of a dog, absolutely, there's a lot to learn. And you can still learn a lot about training. So don't get me wrong, I don't think certifications are a waste of time, but I think to become the best dog trainer, you need to be training dogs. That's literally it. You need to be getting your hand on a lead, and you need to be making a dog sit, making it down, making it stay, whatever it is. And through doing repetitions of that, that is how we learn. I don't believe you can learn to be an obedience trainer or whatever it is purely by sitting in front of a computer or a book. You have to get your hands on these guys and practice what you have learned off there. So theory is all good, but the practicality is, I think, is what lacks in certifications. I know there's a lot that don't require any practical experience. It's all theory, theory, theory. Pass this test, get a certain percentage, and you get a certificate saying you're a dog trainer. I don't think you are a dog trainer after that. I think you're a qualified on certification on paper, but I don't think you are a dog trainer after that. And I think anyone who's honest would agree with that, that I'm sure many people have done certifications and then go, oh, I'm qualified, and then they train their first dog that maybe tough to deal with, maybe reactive, fearful, whatever it is, and they go, whoa, this is very different to what I learned in my qualifications. And then you start learning to be a dog trainer because you're getting your hands on dogs. And you want difficult dogs. If you want to become a good dog trainer, you need dogs that are very challenging, that have their reaction issues, that are anxious, that are fearful, that are hyperactive, high drive, whatever. Getting your hands on easy to train, calm dogs doesn't make you a good dog trainer. That's just cherry picking easy dogs, and then you can say that and you can produce these videos to look impressive. We all know there's a lot of edited videos put online. Dogs look perfect. I pride myself in showing you videos that aren't as edited, and see me having issues with these guys and working through problems. There's a video of him early on my page, and I'll do another follow-up later to show you how far you can get in a short time through doing experience and trying things on your dog. Yeah, so that's what's going to make you a better dog trainer, I believe. Now, last thing I want to talk about today, because again, I don't want to cover too many topics. I was really just introducing, saying hi, a couple of my things that I want. Last thing I wish for everyone, and I want for all of you out there, is to please be realistic with the goals you have in dog training, your dog. What I mean by that is we need to understand that these guys and girls are very instinctive, they're opportunistic, and they are predatory animals, whether it be wanting a tug of war or catching a dog and potentially hurting it. They have these three things in them. They all have it to different varied degrees of it, okay? Not all the same drive. Some dogs have got a different style of prey drive. Nash down here, you would call his prey drive, which is sort of a weird way to put it, but his is for a tug, toy and a ball, not towards dogs. Then the other dogs, their prey drive is to catch an animal and potentially hurt it. So they're different levels. I think we need other words for that. I think the word prey drive is probably should be called predatory drive towards other predators to catch, and then his drive is more just, again, tug of war, fetch, and it's classed as prey drive, but it's a little bit tricky, that sort of area where we go. But be realistic with your goals. Understand that your dog is what they are. You got a Labrador, you got a Coolie Cross, you got a Border Collie, whatever you got. You need to go, this is my dog, this is their temperament, this is what they're bred to do, this is their DNA, and I can manage that, but I can't change that. What I think is really important is when you adopt that understanding, you will be less frustrated with your dog. I trained a German Shepherd just today, and every session I do with this young lady, she's understanding her German Shepherd better and realizing that she used to see it as a dog that had issues, when I've got to understand it really is just a German Shepherd being a German Shepherd. Being a very good one, actually, very alert, a little protective, obviously, being a German Shepherd, always watching everything, and she would never change that. But when you come to understand that, you'll then be a lot less frustrated with your dog, because you'll go, this is what they are, and your job, my job, is to manage that dog and their temperament and what they're bred to do. I promise you, you will be a lot less frustrated with your dog when you learn to do that. Identify your breed, even if it's a mix of breeds. Understand it. Is it a hound? Is it a protective dog, a guardian breed? All of these different style of dogs. Is it a working dog, a border collie that wants to herd sheep? Recognize that, understand it and accept it, but just manage it best you can. Okay, and you'll be a lot less frustrated. So that's all from today. That's all I want to talk about. Otherwise, I'll go on tangents. I have my next podcast planned already. Topics we're going to talk about. Stay tuned for that. Again, intro, saying hi, seeing one dog, not the other one asleep, a couple of topics, and that is it. I will, if you're listening to this, you obviously can't see me. Thank you for listening. If you're watching, thank you for watching. And if you are watching, this is also on all the podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple and all these things. So you can check it out there and share it. I really appreciate it. Subscribe. If you enjoy my content, what I talk about, and I teach you something, all we ask back as content creators is give us a subscribe. It's not hard to push that little button. Come do the right thing, share, it is appreciated. And I will see you or talk to you real soon. Goodbye from Winston and goodbye from Nash. See you. Bye.